up, boxing world? JF Sports. Now, I want to talk to you guys about Matthysse versus Postol because I think that we're sleeping on this, even though the press conference already happened a few weeks ago. But there's not much news coming out, regarding Matthysse and Postol. Especially, you got the Mayweather and the Mosley Mayorga just ended, and you got the Mayweather Berto. Then you got Gennady Golovkin and Lemieux. Then the biggest one supposedly is the Cotto and Canelo. So yeah, nobody is really mentioning or talking about Matthysse and Postol. But to be honest with you guys, I think this is a good match. I think this is a good fight. Postol being Ukrainian undefeated champ with 11 KOs and 27 fights and 27 wins against Matthysse, the machine. I mean, this could be an explosive fight. I know Matthysse is not undefeated, and yes, he lost Danny Garcia and so forth and stuff like that. But, Matthysse he's like a Rocky Balboa to me, He's like a mini Beterbiev, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Because this guy he's an explosive fighter. He doesn't give up. And he been wanting a rematch against Danny Garcia ever since. But I don't think that Garcia, Angel, Garcia, Danny, I don't think that afford him the rematch because they know that Matthysse is well capable of winning against Danny Garcia if the rematch happens. But I think we are sleeping on this on this fight. It is on October 3rd. It is before the Lemieux versus Golovkin, and it's right after Mayweather and Berto. But we gotta watch this fight. This fight is a potential fight of this year also. I mean, I'm not gonna compare it to Canelo Cotto and all that stuff, but I think this fight could be better than Mayweather Berto. Postol being very tall with a height advantage, with a reach advantage, and a very good counter punch, and not to mention he can move too. He's got great footwork. And Matthysse being the explosive as he is, being the machine that he is, I mean, I really see this fight as a good fight, And like I said, we're not really talking about this because we're being swamped by all these, big name fighters. But Matthysse is a good fighter, and to be challenged by somebody like this, big Ukrainian dude is a good matchup. Even though Matthysse had said before that those reach and height advantage of Postol doesn't really mean anything to him. But to be honest with you guys, I would actually pay for this fight if this fight was on pay-per-view. And it is. I think it is gonna be on pay-per-view. I'm not sure. Could potentially be HBO, but I don't know if that's already been officially announced. But it was pending at the time when the fight was finally announced. But I don't know, man. I mean, if you guys see Postol's fight, even the last 2-3 fights, if you guys watched it, this guy can move. This guy can potentially be, maybe if he does go up in weight, he could potentially be the next, I don't know, Kovalev. He can move, he can box, he can counter punch. I mean, yes, his knockout percentage is less than 50% of his fights. I get that. But the only reason that I somewhat doubt that he might actually win against Matthysse is because of his power punch. Postol's power punch is lacking. He's not necessarily a knockout artist. With that said, Matthysse, on the other hand, I don't have to explain to you guys what Lucas Matthysse can do. I really don't know what the heck happened when Lucas Matthysse fought Danny Garcia. I don't know if he was on an off day or just Danny Garcia overpowered him, outboxed him. I don't know. But that wasn't the performance that Matthysse usually gives us. So I think we shouldn't sleep on this fight. And I think this fight needs to be promoted more. We haven't heard anything since the press conference. And I think people are really sleeping on this fight. And this could potentially be a good matchup, just like what people are saying about Gennady Golovkin versus David Lemieux. I think this is one of those fights. It should be somewhere around that fight. Like I said, I'm not comparing it to Cotto and Canelo now. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this is a good match, a giant guy versus a smaller dude with a great power. I think Matthysse is gonna come forward when this fight happens. I think Matthysse is gonna try to knock out Viktor Postol and potentially make history, because he would be the one to ever first give Postol his first loss. But Postol being him, it'll be a tough fight for Matthysse because he's gotta get in there. Postol fights in distance. If he maintains his distance and he just let Matthysse away from him, then yes, he could jab him to death and pot shot him to death, and maybe win that fight. This is the fight that could go either way. But I'll make my predictions later on, and I'm sure you guys are too. But I think we're sleeping on this fight of Viktor Postol and Lucas Matthysse. These are two serious fighters that are not playing around. Viktor Postol got something to defend, his undefeated record, and Lucas Matthysse is trying to make a bigger name for himself. He is big, but he's not getting as much credit as he should be, like Maidana. And I honestly believe, even though, they're in different weight classes and stuff like that, I honestly believe that if Matthysse gains some weight and stuff like that, and actually move up in weight classes, he could be the next potential Maidana to fight big names. I would like Matthysse to fight Broner. Test the waters, see what happens there. When you actually fight somebody that can move, because Broner, he can move. He's got good defense. Well, not lately, but you know what I'm talking about. He's got good footwork. He's skillful. He's just a little mouthy, but that's a good match. After this fight, but I'm not saying that Lucas Matthysse is just gonna go through Postol without a fight, without a battle. Like I said, it'll be a good fight, but I think we're sleeping on this, and I thought I'd remind you guys that on October 3rd, we're gonna see Matthysse and Postol. Before we see Gennady Golovkin and David Lemieux. So I thought I'd give you guys my little thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think, Matthysse and Postol, since the press conference. If you guys' mind had changed, or if you guys already selected who your dog in the fight is gonna be, drop me a comment. And as always, thanks for watching JF Sports.